Hello, and welcome back to Sourcing Hat's YouTube channel. I'm Catherine, but you might know me online as The Sorceress. I'm here to share some of my top talent sourcing tips and ideas here on YouTube. So let me know if you have any questions about finding talent on the internet. Today's video is about Google search tools. These might be features that you don't even realize exist. I could talk to you about loads of different search engines which all do different things well, but I think most people default back to Google. I know I do. So if I can show you how to search on Google really well, that will hopefully have the biggest impact on your searches and your success. Okay, let's dive in. Here we are on Google's homepage. As you can see, it's a really clean web page. There's not much going on here. There's pretty much a search box, 2 buttons, and a link from Google about their commitments to Black communities and racial equality. So we can really see the priorities from Google. They want to help us search. And that's pretty much it. So what do we do? Normally I come to Google and I type in what I'm looking for. So it has some suggestions. Let's have a look. What shall I go with? I'm going to choose a selection, dinner recipes. Okay. I love searching for food in these examples because I am always hungry. Okay, so I've run a search. We run searches every day, and they're usually pretty simple like this one. It's usually a couple of words. But what we might not realize is that Google has more options than we think. We're used to seeing results like this. A lot of categories like recipes, for example, now have more than just a list of links. They incorporate images and things in our search results. We're all used to that by now. We're also probably used to this line of options that runs along the top in Google, that we could choose to see videos, a video recipe. That's really helpful if you want to see how something is made. If you're a visual learner, that's going to be really great for you if you want inspiration to help cook your dinner. Actually see, is this something that I can do myself? Images, again, something we're used to searching for on Google. Shopping, great if you're searching for a product. You can then compare all the different places you can buy it. Love that. Books, I don't dive into this one quite so often, but still really useful if you're looking at a particular author or if you're looking at books. Then there's more as well. We can go to maps. Again, if you're searching for a brand or a retail outlet or a doctor, searching on maps, so useful. News. What's the latest news about the topic I'm searching for? Flights, if you've typed in a place name, that would be super relevant. Finance, again, if you're looking at a brand or a FTSE company, that is going to be a really relevant tab to you. So there's all these different search engines within a search engine. But I want to focus on the main Google page where most of us tend to get our information. Okay, so there's 2 more things up here. Things that people are slightly less likely to dive into. And when I point them out, people are like, oh yeah, I never really noticed that. So let's have a look. The one that I really want to look at is tools, but let's see, what does settings have? So we can tweak our search settings. It's really worth popping in there and having a look. You can turn on things like safe search, which is great if you've got kids in the house. You can also change the number of results that you get per page. Really helpful. All this good stuff in here. You can look at your own data. So particularly if you log in to Google, you can have a look at all that. So it's worth having a look at the settings tab. But I want to talk to you today about tools. Let's click on that. Now you might think, oh, what happened there? Well, all I did was click the tools button and these 3 extra options folded down under that horizontal menu. That's all that happens. And what we see is the first option is any country. So if you used Google many years ago now, probably 10-ish, you might remember that there was a tick box which said pages from the UK next to it. And this is essentially what that is. If you're not in the UK, then you might have seen pages from your country. All this does is allow you to say, okay, I just want to see things from the UK. What does that really mean? So Google looks at all the web pages in its index and looks for very definite clues that a page is from the UK. So that would mean things like, okay, Tesco.com comes up, Delish.com. These ones, the server where the data is stored, where the web page lives, is in the UK. Sort of, it's physically here. Then there's other things like this Delicious magazine, which is a .co.uk. So anything that ends .uk is considered UK related. So as we scroll down the list, a lot of these are .uk, for example, nhs.uk, bbc.co.uk. It's not always .co.uk, it might be just .uk. As long as it's got UK on the end, Google considers it a UK page. But all the others, which are .coms or .nets or .orgs, those would need to be physically hosted here to come up in these search results. So why am I telling you this? Why is this important for recruitment? So if I'm searching for a candidate, let's say, and perhaps I'm doing a search for CVs, and perhaps I'm looking for a contractor, I'm hoping to find personal web pages. And somebody's put their CV up on their personal website because they're a limited company contractor who's likely to be looking for a new gig soon. I mean, I've worked like that. And let's pretend I bought katharinerobinson.com, because you want the .com, right? And I'm just one person. I don't have lots to spend on a website, so I buy some web hosting from the biggest host in the world, GoDaddy.com. They are based out in the United States. They probably have servers in several locations, but I don't think any of them are here. Even if my domain name is registered to a UK address, even if I say that I'm in the UK on my website, Google isn't going to think there's a strong enough signal that that is a UK related page. So it won't come up in my search results. If you're doing a search for a candidate, I'd say, always think, is the information I'm looking for definitely going to be on a page that Google thinks is UK related before I use this search filter? But it can be very useful if you keep coming up against stuff from locations which aren't relevant to your search. You might be thinking to yourself, well, okay, that menu only allows me to find pages from the UK. What if I want pages from Germany or pages from the USA? How do I get it to just go to that one country? Because that wasn't an option on the drop down. What I would say is go up to settings, which we looked at earlier, and go to advanced search. And from there, you can select any location that you want, any region. I believe it's called regions. Look for that on the advanced search page. Okay, so that's what this filter does. I'm going to go back to any country, so we've got lots of results to look at again. And what's the next one? The next one is any time. So I could say, well, okay, I just want information from the past month. So if I'm looking for really up-to-date news, perhaps I've put in the name of a client up here. I've put in something like recruiting gym. And I want to know what's new with recruiting gym. So I could go to tools and I could say, well, just show me pages that mention recruiting gym that have been updated in the past month. So I'd see immediately, oh, the About Us page was updated this month. That's definitely worth looking at. Then, some of these things aren't necessarily relating to the recruiting gym. It's just mentioning those two words. So I might think to myself, okay, I need to put quote marks around my search. But the next thing I notice is that there's a video on YouTube which references the recruiting gym, which was updated on the 8th of October. So that might be worth a watch. It's very, very easy once you've done one of these timed searches to see when the pages in your results were last updated. And that's super useful. Let's think about another example. What if you were looking at attendee lists from events? Now, at the moment, these might be fewer and further between as we're not really meeting in person. So you might think to yourself, okay, well, an attendee list from the past 2 years would be relevant. That's not an option on our list, but we can set a custom range. So I could say, well, okay, from the 1st of January 2019 until today is my range. You don't even have to remember today's date. Google knows what today means. So there we go. Now I'm seeing everything about recruiting gym from the last, almost 2 years. So as we can see, we're getting more results, quite probably. If you do want to see how many results you're getting, you can fold up this tools menu and then fold it back down again. So I can do that and it will tell me how many results I've got. I can click back and the filter is still active. There's a little tip for you. If you do wonder exactly how your search is working, how many results you've got left, when we did the past month, how did that affect our number of results? It was drastically less results. Let's also try putting quote marks around this, so we definitely get the phrase recruiting gym together. Now that is going to affect our search results as well, because we're going to shrink the pool of results. Yep, only 41. That feels about right, doesn't it? 100,000 mentions of recruiting gym in a month. It sounds too good to be true, and it is. So this is much more accurate, and everything that we're looking at, yep, that really is talking about the recruiting gym. Okay, let's get back to our filters. We can always clear what we've done, so let's do that. I'm going to keep those quote marks around recruiting gym because that seems to give us good results. This all results menu drop down is where things get a little philosophical. So at the moment, what Google is doing is giving you all results. So what does that mean? It means all results. But sometimes if you're writing a much more complex query, if we've got maybe a longer search string or a search string that's really very exact, perhaps it's saying I want a particular word or a particular file type from a particular website. You know, there's not going to be that many results. You know, potentially there might be fewer than 10 results that match your query. And when that happens, Google can sometimes panic a little bit. It thinks the results just aren't good enough. There aren't enough for our user. And Google starts to perhaps take a few liberties with how it interprets your search string. It starts to think, okay, maybe I will ignore those quote marks, or maybe I'll find a page that doesn't have that word on it. That word can't be that important, can it? Maybe I'll look outside the website that the person has stipulated they want the result from. But no, we know what we want. We haven't typed those things by accident. We haven't made our search string pickier unknowingly. We know that there are only, 3 pages that are going to match what we want, but we don't need more than 3. We just want what we want. And that's where verbatim comes in. So right now we've got 7,500 results. If I change to verbatim, I don't imagine this will be too different, because, this isn't a complex search. We've actually got a few less. Which makes sense, because maybe before Google was, throwing in a few other things that I thought, oh, well, recruitment gym, that's an early recruiting gym, right? Must mean the same thing. So those things might have been way down on page number 10. We might never have actually seen those things. But yeah, choosing verbatim tells Google, no, literally just search for what I've got put there in the box. Exactly how you're supposed to interpret it. When we go back to all results, Google starts throwing in stuff like this, which is actually relevant. In many ways, I prefer this Google altered universe, because most of the time Google's helpfulness is helpful. So don't think that you always need to be switching on verbatim. You don't. But if things just don't seem right, if you think to yourself, why have I got that? That's not what I meant to search for. Why is Google missing out that word? Why is Google ignoring my quote marks? Why isn't this from the website I wanted? That's when you need to switch on verbatim. Most of the time, just go with normal Google. It's fine, seriously. Okay, so that is everything that is under this tools menu. Sometimes one of these might not appear, and that's usually just because you've either already got something selected here from an advanced search, or there just aren't enough search results to really make these relevant. So yeah, don't panic if they don't exist. It doesn't necessarily mean Google no longer has that feature. It just means that it's not necessarily relevant to your search right now. It might be that you have so few search results that to filter by time, you might as well just look at the 5 results you've got. But definitely have a dive into these extra 2 buttons, your settings and your tools, on the end of Google search, and see if you can make your searches work a little better for you. Thanks for joining me. I hope you find yourself using Google's search tools to help you. Google's search tools. Why is that hard to say? To help you narrow down your search results and get to the info you need that much quicker. If you have a Google search tip you'd like to share, please do put it in the comments down below. The same goes if you've got a question, pop it in the comments below and I'll do my very best to find an answer for you. If you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. I aim to put out a short video most weeks with sourcing tips for recruiters. Until next time, take care and happy sourcing. See you in my next video.